Well, hey there, everybody. It's Chris from the Rate the Record podcast. And if you couldn't believe it, I don't know why, because I've been doing this for so long now. It's time for the new music review. I've got 4 new songs that I've listened to this week, and I want you to listen to them too. I want to discuss them with you, so I'll let you know my opinions. I want to hear yours. That's how it works, so let's jump into it. I've always found that if I cut the video footage to me just suddenly being here without, like, you know, doing some more weird transition like this, it doesn't look right, it doesn't feel right, so I'm just gonna talk while I do that. So first up on the list this week, we have the band Twin Tribes, the darkwave duo from Brownsville, Texas. I didn't anticipate a darkwave band coming out of Texas, but hey, what do I know? But regardless, they have a brand new album that just dropped on January 26th called Pendulum, and the track that they released along with it is called Sanctuary. So essentially from the word go in this track, it picks up right into those post-punk stylings that the band is known for in their earlier works. So not anything terribly new or exciting from the band, but you know what? They are really good at what they do, so don't fix it if it's not broken, right? You have these massive reverb drums, these clean but cold plucky guitars, a very moody running bass going all throughout. It's done really well, and this acts as one of the better examples of the revival of this type of sound, because I mean, post-punk's been getting kind of a revival lately, and this one holds up really well in that regard. Again, going back to the reverb too, it's such a big part of that dark wave, post-punk, gothier style, and it definitely does wonders to really thicken up the atmosphere and the soundscape of the entire track. It does get a little repetitive after a while, but it's honestly not so bad. It still has a pretty fun and smooth progression to it, and time passes really easily with this one, so at the very least it remains interesting. Overall, I think it's pretty good, so if you are familiar with Twin Tribes, then chances are you know exactly what you're getting yourself into by getting into this new song. But if not, hey, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and try it on, see if it fits. You might even like it. So next up on the list today, we have Static X, the industrial metal band out of Los Angeles, California. And the band's been on something of a comeback recently, I would say, since about 2020, because they've only released their second album since 2020, because obviously the original founder and frontman Wayne Static passed away in 2014, so the band didn't have much to do. But with that said, this new album project, Regeneration Volume 2, released on January 26th as well, is their latest project, and the latest track to come from that is Black Star. Now, from what I understand, this album and 2020's Volume 1 has a lot of unearthed samples and recordings from Wayne Static himself, so with that said, I'm not certain how much of this project is Wayne Static's voice as compared to their new singer, Zero, who is also Epsil Dope from the band Dope. I don't know if he really took part on this album in that respect, but because I don't know where they begin and end, because they also sound very similar when they're singing in that style, I'm just going to assume it's Wayne the entire time. This honestly wasn't as bad as I had anticipated a song by Static X being in the year 2024. It's industrial metal to a near T, I will say that much. The production is great for the most part, very clean and solid on the instrumentals. You have some very generic and fitting stabby and drony synths going on in the background. The vocals are a little pushed back too. I don't know if it's because they are vocal samples and everything like that. Maybe it's just not the best production on them, I don't know. But just the tone and style of it reminds me of Ministry, so I guess that's off on a good foot. As much as I might praise that part, it's still not the best song to listen to. It's not all that interesting. It feels pretty flat all around. It's heavy enough to get your head nodding, but I mean, I'm just not entirely sold on it myself. With that, overall, I will say it was better than I had expected, but I'm still not super into it. But I will say one thing I noticed about this new album, that there is a cover of Nine Inch Nails' Terrible Lie on this album, so maybe I'll check that out, and I'll get back to you about that, and maybe I'll like that one better than this. Okay, so I just finished recording the review, the entire NMR, and now I'm going to listen to that Terrible Lie cover by Static X as the resident Nine Inch Nails fan here. Let's see if it's worth it. I hope so. I didn't see that coming. His staccato style of vocals on this is kind of funny. Trent has that drawl in his voice and kind of pulls words out, whereas like Wayne Static is like just stabbing every single fucking word. Did he change the words there? I think he's changing some of the words. Interesting enough. I think buried in the background in a few spots, there's definitely some samples of the original in there, which is, I mean, that's fine. I can't tell if he's changing words or he's just articulating them weird. I don't hate the instrumentals. The drums are a little heavy. The faster pacing of certain sections feels weird, though. I like the synth thing they're doing at the end here. I don't mind that. The ending's cool. I like the ending. Wow. That one was quite energetic. It wasn't as bad as I was thinking it was going to be, but still felt a little strange, I'll say that much. Not bad. Not bad. So if you want 4.5 reviews on today's NMR, that's my review. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. You know, I dug it. A lot of energy, pretty heavy. They changed it up a bit. Obviously made it their own. I dig it. Next up on the list today, we have the band The Smile, who I've covered a couple of times so far here on the NMR, and they are a three-piece art rock band consisting mostly of members of the band Radiohead. Going 3 for 3 so far, they've also released a brand new album on January 26th. It's their second one called Wall of Eyes, and the single out now is called Friend of a Friend. It's a very soft and jazzy number for the most part, and it also feels super cliche to refer to something Tom York is a part of as haunting. But I mean, though he's not the only one who's a part of this project, obviously, he definitely knows how to build and carry that atmosphere very well, so it went from Radiohead to being in The Smile, and it's still very much present. For the most part, the song is pretty unassuming and peaceful. The piano is playing this like really pretty but unorthodox chord progression all throughout. You have this very soft style of jazz drums, and then you just have this playful bass that's like really dreamy. It's all really pleasantly mixed with Tom's very sleepy style of vocals, which if you know Tom York, you know that style. So I mean that in the best way possible because that's just kind of something he's known for. A couple of points in the song too get this swelling of additional layers of horn and strings and other background noise and ambience as well. It definitely brings the track into a slightly more chaotic and unsettled territory, I guess. But I almost like that avant-garde introduction of sounds that kind of keep you on your toes a little bit. Overall, it is definitely an interesting piece. Unless you're super into this style or mood, I don't know how often you're going to want to come back to this particular track. But it still works as a nice, solemn song, so, you know, you could try it out. Maybe you'll like it. So finally on the list today, we have Alkaline Trio, the pop-punk / alt-rock band out of Chicago, Illinois, and they're back with their 10th studio album across their 28-year career. This is their first album since 2018, and a perfect 4 for 4. They also released this on January 26th. Man, I picked a lot of same-day stuff today, and that's fantastic. The latest track is called Break. There's quite the grand entrance with this song, I will say that much, with the intense minor chord progression pushing through with the guitars, the quick-paced drums, and you even hear this combination of bell and piano kind of playing along with each other in the background, and I think that adds to the overall bleakness of the track. The lyrics and vocals kind of also add to that bleakness, but despite that, it's still a very high-energy performance in the entire song. It never really lets up until a very brief bridge closer to the end of the track, so it's just high intensity, high octane all the way through. It has some catchy elements to it as well, especially with the chorus, so those minor progressions that are like driving the song have some major touches to them now, and so it definitely adds that kind of fun, I don't want to say feel-good mood to it, but I think you know what I mean when I say fun at the very least. Overall, this one feels like a 2000s throwback for sure. Like, you know, that era of pop punk is very, very much on display here. I'm not personally big into it, but I can see the appeal of it at the very least. So yes, I can see why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'm not that bitter and I'm not that old, I think. If you couldn't tell, I'm very tired today, and that's why I'm kind of all over the place with this review. So it's a good thing we're at the end now. So thank you very much for getting all the way to the end of this review, hanging out with me and listening to these songs. If you indeed did listen to these songs, make sure you let me know what you think of them in the comments down below. I'm always curious to hear your opinion because you hear mine. I don't want to be the only one part of this, so please, I encourage you, write your opinions down below. Make sure you're checking out ratetherecord.ca, our home-based website. Find all of our streaming links, our social media links, our Ko-fi donation page if you want to donate to the show a little bit. There's merch over there, and you can even request an album for us to do on the podcast when it comes back for season 6. At some point down the road, still undetermined, but it's going to come back eventually. So if you want us to do an album for that, now's your time to get in those requests. And a couple of channel announcements too. So next week, what we'll be doing, or what I'll be doing, there's going to be a series of shorts coming out across social media and here on YouTube as well. just kind of doing some fun little stat breakdowns of seasons 1 through 5 of the podcast so far. They were fun to do, fun to make, and I think you're going to enjoy watching them. They're only like a minute long, so it doesn't take much to get through them, so I encourage you to check those out. A new ILTS video will be coming in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'm currently penning out the entire script for that one, and I gotta get all the images and collect everything like that. But yes, there is a new one coming soon, so make sure that you're staying tuned for that. And more importantly, I do have plenty of new ideas that I'm working on right now, and they're going to work through live streaming. So I'm going to start live streaming right here on this channel. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I will make more announcements about that as well. I want you to join in on that. It's likely going to be like a 7 p.m. EST type thing, whatever day I happen to choose. So kind of line that up with your own time zone. If you can join me, fantastic. If not, there will be edited VODs going up as well. So just letting you know, there's new content coming soon, and it's going to be done a lot of it through live streaming. So I hope to see you there. And so keep your eyes out for announcements again over social media or here on YouTube. I will keep you updated. Other than that, that's all I have right now. So thank you again for watching this with me. Until I see you next time, go listen to some awesome music. Take care, friends.